Sometimes people ask me this question like when to use Scrum and when to use Kanban. There is no single answer to this based on the scenario or based on the nature of work. Scrum is better in certain scenarios, whereas in certain other scenarios, Kanban is better, and sometimes both Scrum and Kanban can work together. Scrum versus Kanban, which one should you actually use? In other words, when to use Scrum and when to use Kanban, that is the agenda for today's discussion. So, as we all know, Scrum is the most popular agile framework, and it comprises of a product backlog, which is maintained by the product owner, and he prioritizes it, and he gets into a sprint planning meeting where the development team, Scrum Master, and the product owner participates in the sprint planning meeting. For a 30-day Scrum, the duration of the sprint planning meeting could be around 7 hours duration. And at the end of the sprint planning meeting, there is a agreed upon, fully estimated set of features with the definition of done, defined. So a clean set of requirements which the team has agreed to build during the upcoming sprint that is ready. And the team gets into the sprint, and it is a self-organizing team. So they self-organize and then build those features that is planned for the sprint. We call it as the sprint backlog. And every day there is a daily stand-up meeting for 20 minutes. And at the end of the sprint duration, the increment of the product built during the sprint is demonstrated. So that we call it as a sprint review. And if all the features are completed, and if the definition of done is passed for all the features, then the sprint is successful. Otherwise, the sprint is a failure. And then we get into a retrospective meeting where the team discusses what all things they did right and what all things they did wrong. That gets discussed. And with that learning, they get into the next sprint planning meeting. So this is in a nutshell, this is how the Scrum framework works. Here the key thing is, during the sprint planning meeting, we can only work on those features or enhancements or defects which are already known to us so that we can plan for them. So ideally, we think that, okay, a sprint will have only new features, but practically a sprint will have a combination of new features, a set of enhancements, and sometimes defects, which can wait. These defects are batched together. These are not showstoppers. So they accumulate those defects and they fix it so that in the next increment of the product, these things will not be there. So typically, a sprint backlog will have new features, set of enhancements, and if required, defects also. Known defects. Then the Scrum model will work. And during the execution of the sprint, sometimes we get defects reported by the customer from the field of the earlier version of the product, which is already released. And some of them could be showstoppers. That means it must be fixed immediately, high priority defects. Then what do we do? Sometimes the some of the Scrum team members will work on those things as well. So that means they will work on the planned stuff from the current sprint, plus some of their time may go for these dynamic defects that gets reported from the client, which is a high priority defects. But if this is going to be an exception, then Scrum will hold good. But if the number of dynamic defects coming from the customer side, if it is very high, then your sprint will fail because majority of the resources will be working on those things if you don't have a dedicated team to work on that. In such scenarios, Kanban is the right thing. If the number of dynamic defects coming from the field is very high, that means the product is still not that stable. Or another scenario could be your development work is over. Now then team is working only on bug fixes for the bugs reported from the field. And these defects cannot wait because these are high priority defects and they need to be fixed based on a service level agreement. Maybe a showstopper must be fixed within 4 hours time, and next severity it must be fixed within 8 hours time, and high severity and high priority must be fixed in 4 hours. Medium priority, medium severity, 8 hours. So these criteria, we call it as service level agreements, SLAs. So based on that, Kanban will work. So as and when a new defect gets reported from the client side, it will get into the to-do list here. And based on priority, the top priority one will be on top. So this is on the descending order of priority here. And someone will volunteer it. That means it will move from to do to in progress doing. And when the bug fix is done, it will move on to testing. And when the testing is also over, everything is satisfactory. That means it will move to done. And from there, it will go to release. But here, if you look here, there is something called work in progress limits, WIP limits. We call it as work in progress limits. Here, if you see in doing, our WIP limit is to do, our WIP limit is 5. That means at any point in time, in this list, there should be only 5 entries. And in progress, the WIP limit is 3. That means at any point in time, in this column, doing and testing, there should be only a maximum of 3. And in done, our work in progress limit is 4. So a maximum can be only 4. And released, there can be only a maximum of 3. So these limits will vary from team to team. Otherwise, what will happen? A lot of things will lie in progress, and nothing will move to done. So the Kanban creates a pull mechanism. Now, in progress is fully loaded because there are 3 defects here under in progress. And when one move from here to done, there is capacity for one is created here. Then they'll pull out one from the to do into in progress. Similarly, from the done column, when some moves to released, then they pull out something from in progress to done. So Kanban works based on a pull mechanism. The main difference between Kanban and Scrum is Kanban doesn't have a planning meeting. Scrum has planning meeting, whereas Kanban doesn't have a planning meeting. And at the end, Kanban doesn't have a retrospective meeting as well. Yes, we may be monitoring the throughput through the Kanban board, and we may be analyzing the choke points so that we can add more resources to that particular choke point so that the throughput can be improved or maintained. Those aspects we will do, but it doesn't have a planning meeting before it, and it doesn't have a review meeting at the end of it. So, in a nutshell, uh, Scrum is better if we can if you're doing new features, enhancements, and dealing with a set of bugs which can wait and which can be estimated known bugs. But if you're always majority of our work is unknown bugs, which can crop up anytime from the field, then a Kanban is the ideal because there will be a continuous flow. Next question is, okay, should I have just one team doing customer reported defects and the development work, or can I have dedicated teams? So that is a business decision. Ideally, yes, a dedicated team, Scrum team, which will work only on the Scrum backlog. That is the ideal scenario. But in practice, sometimes we get defects from the earlier releases as well. So if that is an exception, then maybe it is okay because the velocity may slightly come down because the team members spend some time uh, in the dynamic defects reported by the client. So velocity will take a dip. But if that is going to be the pattern, and if the number of defects are so huge, unplanned defects are huge, which makes your sprints fail, then it is better to have two dedicated teams, one for new features, enhancements, and known bugs, and another lean team for field reported defects based on a Kanban board. So both can coexist within the same project itself. So that I think you understood the difference and when to use what. This WIP limits is good in Scrum also. To be done, being done, done, and in being done, we can always define WIP limits. Otherwise, what can happen is a lot of work will get transferred from to be done to being done, and the work moving from being done to done will be very less. That means it is just pulled into being done. So we can, it's a very healthy thing to put at any point in time. An engineer can work only on a maximum of 2 or 3 tasks, not more than that. And based on the number of resources in that particular in the development team, we can fix the WIP limits for the Scrum team as well. That will prevent the occurrence of volunteering for too many tasks and then not completing them. In conclusion, Scrum is good for developing new features, enhancements, and planned bug fixes. But if you are working with dynamic customer reported defects, and if the volume is high, Kanban is the right thing to choose. So within the same product, we have dedicated teams for development and bug fixing. Then within the same project, we can use both Scrum and Kanban. The main difference is Kanban is based on the pull mechanism with the WIP limits defined, and it is a continuous flow. It doesn't have a planning meeting and a retrospective. We will be continuously monitoring the flow and the bottlenecks, etc. Whereas in Scrum, we have a planning meeting, then we have daily stand up, we have retrospectives. Maybe we can have daily stand ups in Kanban as well. So these are the differences and the opportunities. Thank you very much.